I'm Michelle.
And I'm Bill.
We are the Breastbling team, selling beaded and stainless steel chain jewelry, highlighting and fitness and women's competition pieces. I can even custom just for you. Check us out
at breastbling.com.
How you doing, everybody? This is Jimmy the Bull at MuscleMonster.com. I'm here today to share with you my personal power straps, how to help you become the best power bodybuilder I can possibly be. Training through injury, gaining strength, and now I'm going to share with you how you can get the extra mile in the gym, pushing and pulling and getting through the exercises. These are the best power straps you'll ever use. Go to MuscleMonster.com to get the full demonstration.
I haven't seen the sun in a week and a half. Hey, look! It just came out! Look at that!
I love it!
And we are back live here for After Hours on this January 31st, 2023 afternoon. And another death in the industry. This time, Leo Rex of Leo's Longevity channel. Johnny Bravo broke the news first on his channel. And is it true that the Pattaya, Thailand newspaper contacted you directly?
Yeah, they actually contacted me about an hour or two after my video came out, and they shared the pictures. I don't know if people have seen them online. They're not really something you don't really want to see again. I had nightmares all night. Just thinking about the pictures of
They weren't crime scene pictures. They were just, I mean, there was no blood or anything like that.
No, there was. No, Dave. You could see pretty much everything, especially the pictures I got. They're a lot clearer than the ones that were posted online. So you could see pretty much every detail. And they were reaching out to me because they knew I knew Tony. And they were asking, they were speculating that it's a murder. And I told them
they were.
Yeah, that's the reason why they reached out to me. They were speculating that it's a murder, and I was trying to tell them that you can't speculate that until the details.
You were telling the newspaper reporters that.
What'd you say, Dave?
You were telling the news reporters not to speculate?
Yeah, they hardly spoke English.
So can we recap this thing and exactly
what
happened? And did he get shot? Did he get died?
No, it was not a murder.
There's actually conflicting reports too from what they reported and from the story that Tony said. So I think you guys, Dave, I think you know about that too.
All right. Yeah. Well, before you tell the story, I just want to go around the panel. We got Armon the DVA, Richard Rodriguez, Greg, Johnny Bravo, our good friend Frank Schiavone. Yeah. And
what was the cause of death?
John Romano. John, all right, we're gonna have Johnny. You give us a recap of what happened, unless you want me to do it.
All right, you want to give one side? I'll give one side.
All right. What I understand happened was that because there's a couple stories, but Tony Huge's story is that for some reason I have a feeling Leo and him were not talking. And we'll go into this in a minute for a few weeks because Leo was doing his own videos, Tony was doing his own videos, but Leo was living in Tony's house, and I guess it's a couple days passed and no one had heard from him, and now. According to Tony, it wasn't unusual for Leo to sleep for 2 days straight and take medication and do sleep holidays or something like that. For whatever reason, he needed that for. We can speculate later on that. But so I guess eventually they decided we better go check on this guy because we haven't heard from him for 3 days. And they tried to, I guess they had to go in the back door because his apartment door was locked in the house. I guess he had a separate entrance to the house. And they went through the sliding glass door and they tried to go into the bathroom and the bathroom door wouldn't open. They thought it was locked, but it was actually his body wedged up against the door. And from what I understand, they called the police. The police came, obviously got the door open somehow. And supposedly there was blood in his nose and his mouth. Whether he fell or it was drug induced, no one knows. The scene of the apartment was a disaster. There was toilet paper all over the place. It was very messy. It looked like someone had maniacally gone through this apartment looking for something. That's the speculation. And obviously there's an autopsy being done. And obviously there was a police, forensic team there. So I'm assuming we're going to find out if there was a struggle, if there were drugs in his system. Tony says that Leo didn't do recreational drugs, but we all know that that's not the case. Is that pretty much the story, Johnny?
Yeah, that's pretty much the story. The only thing is what they're thinking is what happened is that because when he was found in the bathroom, his face was down, and when you look at the injuries, right, he has a mark, a big bruised area on his forehead, right, and he has a gash on the side of the head, and it's bleeding on the side. So, somebody's mic is doing something.
Yeah, we're good now.
All right. What they're saying is that he passed out and he fell, hit his head,
Right.
and it's indicative of what you see the injuries that are on him.
So
why he fell, we don't know. According to Tony, he's saying that he had tools next to the toilet and he was trying to get something out of the toilet, and it could have been a manic episode where he freaked out. And I was thinking, I mean, the first thing I thought that came to my head, not to speculate further, but he was maybe he put something in the toilet that he didn't want to flush and then was trying to get it out. But why he passed out and fell and hit his head, that's the part that we don't know.
All right. Now, the idea that he was wedged into the bathroom with his body against the door to the point where they couldn't even open the door tells me that it's probably unlikely there was anyone else in the bathroom with him, because it would have been almost impossible to get out of the bathroom and then wedge the body against the, you know what I mean? It's like, it almost makes it seem as if he had to have been in the bathroom alone.
No, he wasn't alone. My friend, same shit happened to my friend Paulie. You know what I mean? He had a friend over, died in the bathroom. He couldn't open the door. He was overdosed in the bathroom. Couldn't get the door open. Same shit. Had a pride. But I just talked to Leo less than 2 weeks ago.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. I think.
What'd you guys talk about?
Ameen, Elijah,
mindset. My girlfriend was texting
How
too.
come you're friends with everyone? You ever notice that?
Because he's always been good to me. I don't like what he did with you and obviously everything. Yeah. He knew that. He was telling me that he wanted to start getting back into everything, doing his own channel. There was no drama with him and Tony Huge, though.
Why'd they stop doing videos together then?
They would do. I think they were still filming shit, but he hadn't put anything up. You know what I mean?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Well, if there was drama, Tony wouldn't have kept him in the house. I mean,
no, I think Tony was a nice guy. I think Tony just felt bad.
Tony's a great guy. I mean,
Dave, Greg, I want to also add before we continue, because it's important to say it before you guys talk. I spent a lot of time last night, right after hearing the news. I spent a long time with his ex-wife. Actually, they're still legally married, on the phone, and she wasn't doing well. And her biggest thing that she wanted to explain to people is not to speculate why he died, to respect the family's wishes.
Oh yeah, I ain't speculating nothing. I'm telling you,
that's what the show is. It's a speculation show because we don't know for sure.
No. I get it. I understand that, she wants to protect his memory, for the future. Because look, regardless of what her history was with Leo, he's still the father of her child. So she cares about his legacy that's going to go on further, And I understand that,
He was in a good, but he wasn't in a bad place. He seemed like I think he wanted to bury a lot of the bad stuff that.
Greg, you're the worst judge of character of all time. I love you. You have a great heart. You see the best in everyone, and I agree. And I'm very similar, but you're naive because people can bamboozle you in 2 seconds by just telling you talking in a good sense to you. But this was not. Let's not paint him to be an angelic, being here. This person was not in a good place mentally. He had, Tony even revealed bipolar. Yeah. I don't know if it was an official diagnosis, but Tony said he was bipolar. He obviously had rage issues. He threatened his wife and child to the point where they had a restraining order and they were hiding from him.
He threatened all of us.
He fled the country. Okay?
Not me.
He fled the country. He was taken in by Tony out of the goodness of Tony's heart, okay, because Tony felt bad for him and thought maybe he could make some content with this guy. Probably Tony realized afterwards that he made a big mistake because he realized that he had mental problems and probably couldn't get rid of him. Now, Richard, you heard something similar to that there might have been a dispute between them, right?
Yeah, but my situation, so it's like as far as like wanting to elaborate on it, it's like pretty much my hands are tied given some agreements that I have. But from what I was told, that's what I did hear.
Yeah. What do you say to that?
So basically, they were not okay with each other, and when Leo went out there, several people tried to warn Tony, and Tony sent a text Was it to you, John? You and Nick? Whatever. It was the weird text. Like, I don't care if he eats shit out of babies' diapers and murders. Remember
Yeah,
that
it was
text,
it was
John?
to me
Bravo?
actually. Yeah, it was to me. I showed it to you.
Yeah,
I
he said
showed
he
you
didn't
that
care
message.
if he
Yeah.
did that as long
He
as
goes. He
made
doesn't
good
want.
content.
Basically, doesn't want. He doesn't care about his personal life. He's here to give out information, and that's what he cares about.
Right.
See, that's
Just sell his
told me.
product. That's it.
All right. I want to bring Ameen Ali into this conversation, but obviously, Ameen, before we bring you in, we have to, I'm so upset about what happened to you with the whole Ibogaine arrest and everything. Can you just give us I know you can't talk about the case, but can you just tell us what you can tell us about what's going on and where you're at this point? We can't hear you.
Mike.
We can't hear you. Your mic's not on. I think your mic's muted.
Yeah, it's your mic is the wire.
You're not selecting the right microphone in the settings. We can't hear you.
Yeah, you can.
All right, we'll get back to him.
All right. How's this? Can you hear me now?
So I guess, Tony didn't want to believe that when everybody
we can
warned
hear
him, and he thought it was going to work out, and it didn't.
And Dave,
okay.
to add to that, I also heard the
let's let
same
Ameen-
thing from
John.
Ameen,
John.
hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Done.
Sorry, guys.
Let's let
yes,
Ameen talk.
Okay.
I was arrested for the charge of distribution of a controlled one substance that led to the death of Andy Heyman. God rest his soul. And I just want everybody to know that, number one, I didn't dispense anything. I didn't give anyone anything. People would come to me with Ibogaine and they would ask me to watch them because I had so much experience learning from Mexico, where I got my experience in. I'm being used as a pawn in a game between the feds and the state. The state in the past Proposition 122, which made this legal, and the federal government does not see it that way. They consider it a Schedule 1 substance. Unfortunately, this happened about 2.5 years ago, and they brought it up because of this. I just want everybody to know I maintain my innocence, and I'm vindicated when I go to trial. But it is very unfortunate that Andy did die. The cause of death was already ruled a pulmonary embolism from a blood clot. It wasn't until recently that they decided to make this investigation, and basically they decided to arrest me.
So
I want everybody to know one thing too. I'm free on my own signature, and I have no ankle monitor. And I think that speaks a lot to the nature of myself, my own character. I've never missed a court date in my life. There was never any bond money. It was just a signature, and I am preparing my defense for trial.
And there was no manhunt for you.
I was never a fugitive. The fact is, the warrant came out in November of last year. They didn't even bother coming to my house until just recently. There was never a manhunt. I was never a fugitive. I did the Olympia pre-wrap up with you, Dave.
No, I know. That's why I was surprised. He texted me on New Year's Eve and Happy New Year. So that was the weird thing about the whole thing.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, there's a lot of things that are false out there that are about me, and I'll have to deal with that civilly, and they're going to have to pay retribution.
Yeah, and we support you. Obviously, this is terrible that you're being framed like this. And you know what? If people out there, want to support you, the best way they can support you is not a GoFundMe, but continue working with Ameen. If you're a client of his, or if you want to hire him, that's going to help him pay his bills and support his family. So I hate that people turn their back on people when things go wrong. They did it to Sean Roden too. A lot of people supported Sean, but there were a lot of people who turned their back on Roden when he got accused, also including the organization. So
absolutely, anybody
support your family, and that's important.
Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it. God bless you. God bless John. Thank you very much, Johnny. Bravo. Thank you very much. I texted you the minute I got out.
Yep.
And you and I have been friends. Greg, thank you very much. I thank everybody very much.
You got my support 100%.
Believing in me. Anybody who doesn't believe in me or thinks anything bad of me, I pray for you, because people that know me know my heart and know that I didn't do this. But if you want to get in touch with me, if you do want my help or you want to help me in any way, you can email me at guruameenali@gmail.com. And I'll be more than happy to provide my services and, be able to help anybody that's willing. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. If you just want to lose weight or if you just want to look better or anything like that, please reach out to me. You know who I am. I'm the guy from the 90s who's been, who made Peak Week, if you want to call it that.
All right. Now, the reason I got you here is because you were we blame you. No, you were the guy who brought this guy, Leo, into the fray, into the bodybuilding fray. You brought him to my house.
I did.
We put him on the TV show. We thought he was a very charismatic guy. He got people to follow him. Whether he was, it took a while for everyone to realize that he was crazy. But, what's your experience? Because I know you talked to his ex-wife as well, right?
Yeah, I did. Actually, Leo and his wife came to visit me in Colorado. And when they came to visit me, basically their whole thing was, you haven't been on YouTube. What's going on? We want to help you. We like you. We support you. And my wife will do all the editing of the videos. I'll go ahead and work with you on the videos. And to be honest with you, everything was great until he started throwing shade at Fuad Abiyat. And I don't know Fuad Abiyat, never met him, but I don't believe in doing things that are negative. So I saw that. I said, look, man, I don't want to do this anymore. And that was shortly after we went and I introduced him to Roger Stone. And Roger also told him to take down those videos, and he went off on Roger. He has a very short fuse. I don't know whether that's because of the substances that he used or not. I'm not really sure. Can't really say that. But, he flipped out on me in a way that a grown man should not flip out on a person unless they're expecting a beatdown. And, that happened in Florida. And I told him, I said, I can no longer work with you. It wasn't until about a year or so later that he decided to start saying negative things about my stepson, myself, my son's mother, and me. And he got quite a bit of views from those few videos he did about me. So he knows that negative talk makes more views than positive talk. And unfortunately, that's just the way the world is today.
Yeah, well, and then when I defended you, obviously he went crazy on me. So that's when I knew he was nuts, because I was just trying to foster peace between you two and explaining to him that you should be compassionate because Ameen lost, it wasn't his biological son, but it was a son that he had raised to cancer, a very, very nasty, aggressive cancer that basically destroyed this poor kid in a matter of less than a year. And so I said, have some compassion, but I don't think this guy had any compassion, and he lost his mind. I must have pushed a button inside of him that just he didn't want pushed, because I think he had problems dealing with emotion himself.
I believe so. Dave, remember, we spoke before you did that, because you called me. We said, you said, I'm going to fix this, Ameen. I'm going to fix this. Yeah. I know I can do it. Just trust me. Just trust me. And I said, Dave, I don't think you understand. This guy's really crazy. And
yeah, you were right.
I tried to work.
Did you were you surprised, Ameen, when you heard that he passed?
To be quite honest with you, no, I wasn't. I thought it was just going to be a matter of time. The things that he was experimenting with and talking openly about, like the use of amphetamines and all kinds of other medications that really aren't even used in bodybuilding.
Right.
I think his own personal use went much deeper than that. And so because he was in a situation where he was basically coveted from anything wrong because he was living with Tony, and Tony was making it seem like all these videos are good, that everything is good. I think he believed that what he was doing was okay and was right. And that's a problem that very intelligent people suffer. I mean, I suffer it myself too. People need to put me in check a lot of the times because I think I'm smarter than the average bear. And, I'm not. I'm not. We're all very smart. We're all very intelligent. And sometimes it just takes people to ground you, people that love you to ground you. Unfortunately, Tony didn't do that. Tony, instead of grounding him, Tony just made videos with him and boosted his ego more and more and more. And this led to the demise of him. And listen, I want to say this publicly. God rest Leo's soul. I don't care about the negative things he said about me. He's a human being, and he's no longer with us. And I have compassion for everyone. I don't care if you hate me. If you hate me, I'm sorry. I have love for you, and I hope you find peace in your heart, that you can find forgiveness for yourself and for me. As far as Leo is concerned, I wish he didn't die. I wish he was able to have the opportunity to turn things around. But unfortunately, he went in the wrong direction.
Anyone want to add to that?
I agree with him 100%.
Yeah,
I feel
I
the
mean-
same. I can't look at anybody else. That guy was nothing but good to me. I know he said some fucked up shit about you, Dave, and I actually stuck up about that. That's one of the last conversations we had, was the fact that he was like, yeah, me and Tony would love to have you on. And I said, you don't understand. I can't, because, Dave, I'm still with Dave, and I can't do that. My loyalty was to you. He understood that. He actually said, I respect that and I understand that. I said, I could do some with Tony, but I don't, if you're there, there's still issues. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why he talked to me less than 2 weeks ago. So,
Well,
I
he's
don't.
just trying to get you on the show. That's all.
Yeah,
he's
he was
very
exactly.
charismatic. He
Yeah, but if there
schmoozing
was
you.
this,
Yeah.
I understand. But if there
He
was
was
issues
using
with
you.
him and Tony, he wouldn't
Yeah.
have been telling me. You know what I mean? Because I talk to Tony all the time. Tony's never ever
I
said it.
love Tony, but you know what? Tony got bamboozled by Leo too.
Yep.
I mean,
I want to say one
that?
thing.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time, a couple of years talking to Leo, and we had a falling out mostly because, and I didn't even care about the things he said about me, threatened me. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I just saw he wasn't in a good space in his mind. He wasn't 100%, and he was giving information out to people that I thought was dangerous. And the way he was treating you guys, I just knew he wasn't right. But I never hold that stuff against him. And, the last night, I was, it was bothering me, the fact that he's gone now, and I can't, I never got to make amends with him, because I'm not the type of person to hold a grudge on anyone, no matter what they do to me. I like to have peace with everybody. And all night I've been struggling with the fact that I'm never going to get that chance,
Yeah.
Johnny, I want to tell you something too. I wish Leo and I could have made amends. I mean, I brought him on the scene. I'm the first person to put him on RX Muscle. I thought he was a really great guy. I thought he was going to be a really great partner to me. I'm really sad and distraught that he went down this path of, using negativity to get views. And it's bothered me that, because he knows the things he said about me weren't true.
And I mean, firsthand too, the Leo when he was good, like he was cool. He was a compassionate person. He was a caring person. He had two sides of him. And that was the biggest issue. And that's what people mostly saw, is the two sides to him.
Was he multi-personality disorder, you think, maybe? Because I've never seen anyone switch from one to the other.
Well, Armon, it could have been, but it also could have been because of substances. We really don't know. Like I said, when I saw him, he was clean. He wasn't on anything. And part of the reason that I wanted him to work with me was because, they were so kind. Him and his wife as a team were so kind that, they were willing to basically resurrect my channel so I could still make money and be out there while I was dealing with the death of my stepson, which I, really had no heart to do anything. But yet, he was so kind that he really was kind to me until he flips. Once he flips, then he doesn't go back and apologize.
Right.
He won't do that.
It happens. It's happened in a second. The year I got to know him, he's very charming. Like, he's very charming. Boston wanted me on the podcast. I got on. Me and Boston were friends for years. And then people liked it first, then it started going in a negative way. I even found myself getting involved in the negativity. But I mean, he wanted to personally, I remember like Milos, when that thing was going on with Milos, he was like group texting us, like trying to round up as much as people as possible to go attack Milos. Like, he was like, he went after people. And it's like the day that I told him I didn't want to be on the podcast anymore, he went from, calling Blue, panicking, calling me. I was busy at the time. And then I had like 6 or 7, like those voice messages you listen to. I still have them. It was like, brother, I really want you on the podcast. I understand, I'm not going to be negative on there anymore. I respect you very much, brother, and this and this. And then I didn't even hear him because I was busy. Then I go listen to him earlier. And then with a matter of 30 minutes, it's like, fuck you. I never liked you. Boston never liked you. Like go to hell. Like, you're nothing to nobody. I'm like, and I wasn't even mad. I'm just like, okay, later, dude. Like, later. Like, I just made it easier. And it's hard to say someone I don't believe anybody's good. Everybody has good and bad in them. But when someone is personally, I mean, this guy wanted to orchestrate things against Dave. He was asking me, hey, why don't you bash Dave? I want you to just talk bad about Dave. Don't you and Dave not talk? I was like, we haven't talked. We've talked a couple times in the last week. He's like, well, you need to go after him and bash him. And then, I talked about, some personal stuff between me and Dave that friends have disagreements. That's normal. If you have a friendship and you never had a disagreement with that person, that's weird. And
John
he was
and I
just trying,
never,
and then
John and I
Boston,
never had a disagreement.
Not one.
I'm curious if he,
sometimes. I mean,
I've never did either.
The reason he went after Dave was because of me. Unfortunately, because Dave, had my back and defended me, he wanted to formulate something to go against him and go against me, and it was really bad. And that was actually the beginning of it. And then unfortunately, you fell into it too, and everybody else that had a disagreement with him. Like Nick Trigilli had a falling out with him.
Who was first? Nick? I mean, was it Nick, then you? Was it Nick first, then you?
No.
You,
I put him
Nick,
on,
and
I put
Boston.
him on Arts Live. Right. And by the way, I introduced him to Boston. He didn't. I knew Boston before him. So and then he told Boston not to speak to me.
Right.
So
Didn't he have a falling out with like everybody?
Everybody.
But the sad part is, like I said, I'm not making excuses for him. The sad part is he wasn't right in the head. He just wasn't, man.
Well, I mean, he fled the country
But
because
was he ever going to get right in the head, John?
No,
but this is the thing, and I told you guys this. The biggest thing that I found that the problem with the advice he was giving people was recommending them to experiment with SSRIs.
Thank you.
And that's one thing you experiment with. I'm sorry, it's a recipe for manic episodes like he was dealing with. I knew
John Romano can tell you that. John, look at the Taylor Hooten, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Caused his death, suicide.
Yeah, those SSRIs are famous for causing suicidal ideation. So
those are nasty. I mean, I know that they hurt more people than they help.
I've been on a low dose of Zoloft for 25 years. I've tried to come off that low dose. You know how many times and how sick I was. And for me to be that way, that shows you how powerful those things were. And I can never come off of it. Never would try even again. I'm stuck on that thing forever. So
but you probably legitimately need it. You feel better on it, don't you?
I don't need it anymore. I needed it at a time when I was in my early 20s. And then I never was able to come off of it. Because if you do, you feel those ways.
Let's discuss that too. A lot of doctors.
Ketamine's way better for depression than any of those SSRIs, like ketamine treatment.
It definitely doesn't have the lingering side effects of wanting to kill yourself afterward. But let's just be honest, okay? Doctors take advantage of people that have situational depression. Situational, like what I had. I was going through watching my stepson die a horrible death. His femur was broken. He looked like he was dead for months. And yet, some days he wouldn't wake up for 2 days, and then I would come there and he would wake up for me, and it was just a blessing. And Leo recommended I take SSRI too, and I tried the same one that he said, fentanyl, that he wanted me to take. Or no, sorry, fluoxetine is what he wanted me to try.
Which is Prozac.
Prozac.
No,
and it just numbed you, Ameen. It just made you numb, right?
Once I started to feel that I no longer had the emotions that I should have, I immediately stopped taking it. And I'll be quite honest with everybody. I started to microdose psilocybin, and that was a game changer for me. A game changer. And I mean microdose, I wouldn't feel it. It was such a small dose that I wouldn't even feel it. But it really helped me through the situational depression. And then I stopped that too. It was not, I don't do it today. I don't do anything. But at that time, and anybody that's going through a situational depression, if you go to your doctor, they're going to put you on a medication that you cannot get off of.
Never. I've tried.
They don't want you to. These drug companies don't want you to. You know that.
I ended up in the hospital the 2 times I've tried. Never would try again.
What was happening, John?
You end up with it's not just like you get sick, like flu-like symptoms, but you end up
kind of like opiate withdrawals, right?
Yeah, you end up crying like a girl. Like it was something I never experienced in my entire life from anything, And
it's kind of like how opiate withdrawals are. You cry.
Yeah.
Well, Armon, opiate
I mean,
withdrawals.
isn't that kind of like how opiate withdrawals are? Like, I know when I was coming off opiates, I just was crying, suicidal.
Well, because
crying,
all your
crying,
emotions
crying,
that you were
know?
numbing for months and months and months were let out. That's why.
Yeah.
Right. And listen,
Like a big Band-Aid you rip off.
Everybody knows I was on opiates and I got off of them. Let's just be honest. With opiates, the worst withdrawal, maybe 5 days. You lock someone in a jail cell. I was in a jail cell for 9 days. You lock someone in the jail cell, they're going to withdraw. They're not going to die. Okay. But with SSRIs, the minute you get out of jail, you want to kill yourself. And that's crazy.
Yeah. That's not good.
Look, I mean, you know, Mike Tyson, he was on Zoloft when he bit Holyfield's ear. A lot of people, don't know the story.
It was actually Halo tested. It was actually Halo tested. It was actually Halo tested.
No, Dave.
No, there was actually proof.
Richard, let me finish what I'm going to say. Richard, he was on Zoloft and he was coming off Zoloft withdrawing when he bit Holyfield's ear. I'm not messing around with that.
How do you know?
And then added halotest into
it was actually, you can look it up. Anyone can.
It was actual.
How do you know it wasn't halotest?
It was Prozac.
It was.
He
It was
said,
actually
I'm on
Halo.
Prozac from just so I don't fucking kill you all.
Guys,
it was actually.
He said, I'm on Prozac, stopping me from fucking killing all you motherfuckers.
Stop cursing.
Hey,
It was actually. It was actually
Richard,
Halo
Richard,
testing.
what are you saying?
it could have been both.
It was actually Halo testing because there was drug reports. There was drug reports of him possibly testing positive. Performance enhancement drugs.
It could have totally been both. It could have totally been both. Let's not
Giving
forget.
Tyson halo tested is like trying to put out a forest fire with like gasoline. You know?
That's right. That's exactly what it is.
I mean, I think everybody here is taking halo testing. That's the devil.
Hey, Jimmy. Oh, we got Jimmy the Bull here. Jimmy
was being trained by Lee Haney, and Holyfield was also enhanced too. You know, Holyfield.
And Dave, take a look at that text I just sent you. You could just read the title of it. Is all you got to read. I don't
Chris
Cito
out of my mouth Holyfield. Tyson goes off Zoloft. Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to read the article. I'm just saying I don't spit shit out of my mouth unless I know what I'm talking about.
No, but I mean, I think the halotestin makes more sense in the biting the person's ear off than the going off the Zoloft. Don't you think?
It turns you crazy. I'm telling you right now. I know firsthand.
It could have been both. There's no saying that he wasn't on both.
Right, he said he was on Prozac.
I bit a guy on testosterone. 20 times. I bit him in his back.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, we were having a bonfire. We were having a bonfire in a fucking sorry, and a field. I'm not used to this. It was a keg party in the field, and I ended up having a brawl with this guy, and I jumped on him. I was biting him like a lion. I was there, and I had him on his face. And I was going, you know. Everybody backed up. They thought like a wild lion.
Jimmy, were you doing a reach around?
That was on 600 milligrams of testosterone.
Got a reach around while he was nibbling on his back. That's what
he did a rusty trombone on him.
I wasn't really giving him that kind of affection. It was a little more aggressive than that. But he wanted to give me a reach around. Me, I was taking 3 Anadrol a day. About 3 cc's of Cypionate, a little Deca, a little Sustanon, and I love suspension. I used to do that daily in the shoulder. Yeah, so
right, but it wasn't that. It was the oatmeal.
I had no depression. I wanted to kill people just normally. I had no depression. I was just telling somebody the other day that I was in New York City. I think I told you the story before when I was at the height of my career. I'm walking across. I just did an audition. I'm walking across the street, Manhattan, by an intersection, and this taxi cab came flying around the curb and it hit me. I went flying over the hood, over the top of the car, and I landed on the street. The whole city block, just everybody froze because they were like, "Oh my God, this guy just!" I got up like an animal and I started punching the guy's window like this. I wanted to rip him out of the car and kill him. And then he took off, and I said to myself, "What the hell is wrong with me? I could have just sued. I could have sued the whole New York City cab company." And I was so enraged. All I wanted to do was rip this guy out of his car, beat the shit out of him. But stupid me, because I'm always, I think later after I explode. That's the. So I got to tell you a quick story. I went to the gynecologist yesterday, right? So I walk in there. I got all kinds of problems.
Gynecologist?
Gynecologist?
Yeah, he checked my prostate.
For what?
The gynecologist doesn't check your prostate.
You mean the
I'm
endocrinologist?
sorry. Yeah.
You mean the urologist.
You're right. Same shit. They go inside. It's the same shit. So I walk in the office and he sits down because I'm got to get the results for the blood test because I need to get back on some kind of a incipient. My testosterone's in the shitty. So anyway, I walk in there and he goes, he sits down. He goes, James, let's we're gonna check your prostate. I said, wait a minute, you just checked it 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about? You want to check it again? He says, yeah. He goes, well, I got a new machine. I said, what do you got? And he looks at me and he's got this giant wand, like with a camera on the end of it, right? I said, what are you gonna do with that? And he goes, we do something different now. We go in and we can see from underneath with the camera, and he's got this big 20-inch TV screen. I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. So I bend it over, he greases me up, and he sends this camera in there, right? And not only he's got it in there, he's probably had it in there like maybe good 6 inches or so, right? And not only he's got it in there, he looks like he was jacking up a car. He's going like this, and I'm on the table going, oh my God. I said, what's going on over here, Doc? He goes, don't worry, I won't tell anybody. He's like doing this whole thing, and I was like seeing stars. And I'm like, how do these guys do this shit? Right? And I was like, so he finally pulls it out, you know what I mean? He goes, I gotta go in one more time. And he's going, I couldn't, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder about this guy. So,
oh my God.
How's your prostate?
He said it was good.
Yeah.
So when he had that thing in there, what vibrating setting did he have it on?
John, not only he had it in there,
pumping it up, John.
It looked like he was jacking the back of a car up. He was actually going like this with the thing in the back end there. It wasn't comfortable, man.
I hope not.
If you keep this up, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
You should have done the Valentino clean out before you went in there.
My blood pressure was 180 over 101 before he stuck that thing up my rear end.
Did you get a heart rate?
Yeah, it was 170, 180 over 101. That's what it was before he stuck that thing in there. I don't even know what it was after because I didn't even want to know.
By the way, Dave, I just talked to Tony Huge.
Oh, you did?
I sent him a link. I said, if you want to come on and talk, because he says he wants to make a video about the conflicting stories.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what do you think happened?
I mean, listen, man, you don't know what happened because none of us were there, but I don't think there's any foul play. I don't think Tony did anything. That's for sure, 100%. You know what I mean? But there was 2 reports. One said Tony was the one who checked up on him. That's what from Tony what he said, and then the paper in Thailand, Pattaya News, they were saying that one of the girls went there with the key and got in. Tony said he went through the sliding door. So we don't really know until Tony says something. He said he's making a video, but I sent him a link if he wants to come on. So we'll find out here in a few minutes.
Yeah, that'd be great if you can come on. John,
I was talking to my client.
Get him, man.
I was talking to my client earlier, which is a homicide detective. And he's like, you really can't ever rule out, everything. He's like, he's done cases before they thought it was, like drug overdose for sure, this and that, and they were poisoned. You never know. I mean, right. I mean, we speculate obviously just because we know Leo and his past and everything. But
let me float a theory. What if Tony let Leo go live there because Leo's charming and charmed him, and Tony probably figured, we'll get content out of it, and I'll have a little buddy to hang around with, and go to all the clubs or whatever they do and have their craziness, talk drugs with, and then Leo showed his true colors, and Tony realized he was a little insane, and Tony wanted him out because they got into an argument in some capacity, and I'm sure it was Leo that probably was the one who went crazy on Tony. Because Tony looks like a pretty easy guy to get along with, He's
very easy.
And
I've never even seen Tony get mad.
No, neither have I. So, which doesn't mean he doesn't get mad, but he's pretty mellow. Okay. Yeah. So, and then maybe he said, Leo, you got to leave. I can't do this anymore. And Leo might have potentially even blackmailed him and said, hey, I'm going to tell people this and that, or I'm going to go after you.
David, you're making up some
Greg,
serious
you don't know him, bro. He's never flipped on you.
Greg,
he's never flipped on me.
You don't know what could have happened.
Everybody,
I'm not saying that Tony did anything about it, but maybe that's why Leo was still in the house, even though they weren't doing videos together anymore.
Possibly, but wait a second, guys.
Yeah, because he all of a sudden stopped and started his channel back.
Yeah, right?
Let's too much speculation.
Let's talk about the truth.
Thank you,
John. I would like to hear what John has to say.
We know there was blood out of his nose and out of his mouth. let's just talk the truth, okay? In cases where blood comes out of the nose and out of the mouth, it's usually one of two reasons: either an embolism in the brain or a drug overdose.
Or a trauma.
Trauma would have also shown blunt force somewhere else.
There is. Dave, check your text. Don't show this on screen, but check your text messages.
Does he has a bruise on his head, right?
He had a bruise on his
But
forehead.
if he had a bruise on his head, that could have been the trauma that could have caused, the blood to come out of his nose and his mouth. That's correct.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I would say.
Yeah, John Bravo just sent me a very gruesome picture. I'm not going to put it up on the screen.
Fuck, you got to send it to Greg and me.
Was blood out of
I'll
his
send it
mouth
later
and
to you.
nose, or just nose?
It looks like his whole head is smashed, like eyes, head. It looks like he definitely fell face down.
Yeah, when you have a skull fracture, Dave, the eyes swell up like what's in that picture. That's how you know the skull is fractured, because the blood rushes down to the eyes.
Now, someone could have smashed him with something.
I mean, Ameen something, because Ameen it seems like he's an expert with this. And the only thing I could say is we don't know. I know that even Tony Huge said that Leo didn't really party like that. Now, I know that Leo's told me in the past he doesn't really party. But I want to ask Ameen. I know you guys are like juicy, love this shit. But like George Carlin said, don't you love a good disaster? You guys are like relishing in this. But Ameen, do you think that maybe it could have been something like a hallucinogenic, like a DMT? That's why they I know when people are paranoid, I don't know, there's a demon in the toilet. I got to get that fucking demon or something like that, because they see things that aren't there. Do you think like something that might have happened and he slipped and smashed his head? What do you think, Ameen?
You know what? I don't think that's the case. I don't think it would have been.
Okay.
But I can say this. Leo's wife is calling me on the phone right now.
Is she?
Yes, she is.
Why don't you answer it? Fuck us. We're a bunch of
probably
momos.
watching it. She's
Dude,
probably
watching the show right now.
That is a violent trauma of some kind. Period. End of story. That's not an That's not an aneurysm, embolism, whatever. It's none of that shit.
No, but John, that mark on his forehead, okay, that he was found.
Once you answer him,
he was
once
found
you answer,
face down, okay? So that swelling on his forehead, he was found. His body was found like that. I
got you. But look at his face is full. He's been beaten or traumatized in some way. That is not an ambulance.
I showed it. Listen, I showed it to a doctor, and that's the information I got from the doctor. I'm not saying it on my own. I got it from a doctor.
All I'm saying is that ain't an embolism.
And they showed me examples of other people who fell like that, who had a skull fracture, and they exhibited the same exact.
If you fall and you hit your head on a toilet bowl or a sink, you're going to definitely get a nice bruise.
I have a friend who died that way. He had a coughing fit in the bathroom, and he passed out, and on his way down, his forehead hit the tub, and that was it, dead in the bathroom.
Crazy.
Plus,
I had a friend that died like that too.
Tony, you said that
hit
he
the counter
thinks that Leo died on Friday and he found his body on Monday. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's lividity and everything like that if he was laying face down.
That's true.
He's also saying he didn't do recreational drugs, though.
Yeah, he did say that.
I think he's covering for himself on that one. Yeah.
Well, it depends on what you call recreation. I mean, I think DMT
That's
is
true. Right. Some people would consider, Adderall not a recreational drug,
What do you think a recreational drug is, Greg?
Jimmy, your microphone stinks. Fix it.
I mean, I talk about parties like, like LSD.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just read this. Lucy said she's shaking by what we're saying. Be respectful. His body has been laying for 2 days, which is why the blood came from his nose and his mouth. You guys have no respect for his death. Yes, he had some demons, but he has also had a good heart, which I said. And Lucy, I'm sorry. You're right.
I don't think anybody's being disrespectful here at all.
No, just speculating what happened. That's all.
We're talking about death.
Let me just clear, because she just messaged me. Lucy, I'm sorry. I really am sorry, and I'm sorry that he passed regardless of anything. And you know what? You're right. He did have a good heart. He did have some demons, and you know, you're right. She's saying the blood came out of his nose and his mouth because he was alone for 2 days. That's what she's saying. So let's not speculate any further. That's what Lucy's saying. Let's leave it at that, and let's have some respect for Lucy and his daughter.
Well, we'll find out.
We're just talking about our
out.
experiences we had with him, and that's all. Like we're not even going in deep either. Like I'm holding back on other stuff that's even, you know, evil. Like, so I think we're holding back and respecting. Like when I made a video too, it's like I held back on, you know, a lot of things that he was wanting to do to people, because it's like, what, I don't want to, what's up? He's gone now, but I mean, I was scared of the guy. I mean, I'm not scared of people, and I was scared of him.
So was his wife.
You know,
they were in hiding.
You know, and
the comments are saying that all of us are being disrespectful, by the way.
Yeah, as scared as she might have been of him, you know, she just messaged me and she just tried to call me right now. That just goes to show you how far back this goes, because I was the first one, and, you know, she met me, I met her. And again, you know, my whole thing was this beautiful, intelligent woman is in love with this man, and she could tell she was clearly in love with him. And I thought, you know, he must be a really great guy. And at that time, he really was. And I don't want to say anything bad about him, because that's just not how I do it. But again, we were speculating on where the blood came from and all. And, you know, it is just speculation. Lucy, I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry.
So he needed help. I mean, he needed professional help to be away somewhere for a while, obviously.
Yeah, he needed to be in rehab for sure.
I mean, this was a pattern with everybody. He had a disagreement that was just a normal disagreement, then he wanted to destroy that person's life. That's not normal. I mean, like, I have disagreements with people all the time. It's just like, okay, the next day we talk a few days later, oh man, sorry about that, sorry about that. His pride was up here. He would never, like, some people just wanted an apology. I remember, like, you know, some people just wanted, like, I guess Nick Trigilli the other day was wanting an apology. Apology would have done wonders for me. I mean, like, you know, I know Blue, Boston's, I know Ariella and Leo did a podcast the other day. It didn't air, but they just did a podcast like a few days ago. I spoke to Blue a couple days ago, and they just did a podcast about, I guess, raising money for Boston's child. And, you know, I don't know how him and Ariella, that's how charming he is. Ariella was, you know, disgusted by him, kind of like, you know, when Boston needed him and the stuff he was telling Boston to take. I mean, 3 days before that, Boston passed away. Boston was like, I don't feel good, Armon. I'm like, well, what's changed? You know, like, of course he was in kidney failure. What's changed? I think I was texting Dave too. I was like, he's like, well, I started certain diabetic medicine. I slipped my mind. And I'm like, why did you start that? So Leo said it'd be good for me. I said, good for what? It's a diabetic medication. Like, and then it Jardiance, it's like kinetoxic, I think.
Yeah.
Jardiance,
yeah.
Jardiance.
It's blood sugar. It's a blood sugar medication.
Diabetic.
Yeah, I mean, I know that didn't kill him, but he was taking like unnecessary stuff that was stressing his body further. And then 3 days later, Boston passed away after that text. It was like, I don't feel good. I said, why don't you stop taking it? He goes, I'm going to take it a few more days, and if I still feel bad, I'm going to stop. And then if I start feeling good, then I'll know that was the thing that was making me feel bad. I mean, okay, Boston would be, you know, Boston was going down that opiate route that you know, that thought it was funny. I know everybody thought I was on opiates last week. I wasn't. I was legit falling asleep. You know, it's not a joke. It's not a game. It's a serious addiction, and it wrecks people's lives. Boston thought it was funny. Injecting oxys, and Leo was like, it's funny. Like, dude, it's not fucking funny.
Armon, I got so many DMs
this
from
is your
people
fucking
worried
friend
about you last
shooting
week.
oxys. Like, why are you laughing? I would call that Boston that night and have an hour-long talk with him. I'm like, dude. He's like, oh, I'm only doing it on leg days. I'm like, that's how it starts.
Right.
Quit playing with fire, and then Leo's laughing and telling him how to do it. I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's not okay.
Armon, let's not forget that. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the video that he made about me, he accused me of being a heroin addict. He accused me of renting cars and then selling them. He accused me of all kinds of crazy shit that just wasn't true. And Lucy's saying to me right now, she's still texting me. She's saying that, you know, she finds it disrespectful and her daughter might see this one day. Leo didn't give a shit what my son was going to see.
Right.
He didn't.
Her son was sitting there suffering, and he was so. that was the coldest thing ever with your son. I saw that your son. I mean, bro, it made me fucking cry seeing your son like that. And he was that cold, and he didn't give two fucks how you felt when your son was there suffering. I mean, that's just. I'm sorry, but like,
and you know what? And you know what? Most people that might have been a heroin addict might have gone back to heroin, but I didn't. You know why? I never used heroin to begin with. Dave knows I did New Vein. Okay.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
I did too.
I never even tried heroin, so I don't even know. But you know, he actually said he did on video. He said he did do heroin, and I don't know why he said all those lies about me, other than just for views. But all I can say is that we don't want to say bad things that we don't know, but what we do know that is true, that is out there, that he did say, is not good. It's not.
No,
good.
I mean, I had people texting me 2 months ago saying, I heard Leo let you borrow $20,000 and you spent it all on drugs because you're a drug addict. I'm like,
me?
Leo doesn't have any money.
I'm like, let me.
I mean, I get it. I was falling asleep.
Are you saying he let me borrow 20 grand?
No, me. I borrowed.
Oh, you? Grand. Okay, I was just thinking. Sure.
I spent it all on drugs. I'm like, Leo wouldn't give me a damn dollar. Leo wouldn't give me gas money. I mean, it's like, you know.
Dude, if you ever hear that I lend people money, then you know it's bullshit because I'm a legitimate broke ass.
Would someone please give Greg some money?
Okay, Valentino, all that bullshit. I'm in the media, did all this shit. It's up to nothing. I
got a question.
Yeah.
Leo had bad blood with everybody. Okay, tons of people. All right. The pictures I'm looking at over here, the ones with him laying on the white sheet, do not tell the story. Obviously, they put him on the white sheet. When the other pictures where they found him, there's a puddle of blood he's laying in.
The ones in the bathroom, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't get puddles. You don't lay in a puddle of your own blood with those kind of contusions on your face because you were laying there for 2 days. That's not how that happens. With the amount of enemies that this guy has made over the course of a very short time, okay, isn't it possible that somebody could have, that this is foul play? Why isn't anybody exploring that? Only because he was in the bathroom wedged against the door? I could wedge you against the door in a bathroom.
There's no way that's foul play. You know what that looks
went
like?
through my head.
He hit his head, and his heart was still pumping. That's why there's blood. Like that amount.
What if someone whacked him in the head?
I don't think somebody whacked him in the head. He was probably in the bathroom and fell, hit his head, and that's exactly what happened. But
Greg, what person that's sober falls in the bathroom? That's something they say when you're in prison. Oh, he slipped in the shower and hit his head.
Well, if you look at that one picture, if you look at that one picture, it looks like there's blood coming out of the back of his head. And then if you look at the other picture where they actually found him, he's in a puddle of blood. So
John, that's
dead in a puddle of blood by having an aneurysm.
If that's the case, again, God rest his soul, but maybe he could have been murdered.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you have a lot of enemies out there.
I could say this, guys. I could say this with 100% certainty. When they came to my house, and I did CPR on Andy, and I called 911 on Andy, there was no blood at all. He just turned blue.
Right.
So
how that happens.
If you overdose on drugs, usually you vomit, and there's usually some vomiting involved first. That was not the case with either Leo or this guy or Andy. So God rest them both. Let's not speculate on what happened with Leo, but at the same time, John, you're right.
My experience with him was this guy is the most. I have never experienced such a manic episode in my entire life. He's leaving me, text messages, I guess, or maybe voice messages. I don't remember. And he starts off the first one. He starts off very respectful and congenial, and he wants me to make an apology for what I said about Boston Lloyd. And then within the course of 12 seconds, he goes from that to, "You motherfucker, I'm going to send somebody to their house and beat the shit out of you. I'm going to fucking kill you." And it's like, holy shit. He went from mild-mannered, Clark Kent to a demon in the space of 30 seconds at the most.
30 seconds.
John, I remember that. He called me literally.
20 times.
Like like 2
Yeah,
seconds.
like
trying
that.
to get you to apologize. He wanted me to get you to apologize.
Well,
He did.
Oh, Lee Priest.
Apologize.
Is
Come on.
I'm curious to see
Don't
what
have
Lee
me
has to
come
say
on
about
and
this.
be the voice of reason here. Come on now.
Come on now, be the voice of reason, Lee.
So
Let
what
it
happened,
go.
What's
Lee?
Lee's?
Let it go. Look, we don't know what happened. That's the thing. The logical thing would be maybe, shit, I've been in the bathroom and had my not insulin, but blood sugar drop, and I've almost passed out. So it could be something as basically as passing out, hitting your head, smashing your face on something, and that's
Yep,
it.
he's
So
right.
let it go. No one in this show right now should throw stones. A lot of you had criminal past. A lot of you have sold drugs. A lot of you have done bad shit. So let it
stop
fucking
talking
go.
about me.
I didn't name names, Dave, Greg, John. You know, let it go.
But he made enemies. He made enemies with everybody.
I know, but we've all made enemies. I've said shit about people when I died.
Enemies.
I know, but you know what? The past is the past. Be a bigger person. Let it go. He said shit I've seen, yes, about people and drug addiction, this and that. When people are angry, they say stupid shit. Maybe if he was on some stuff, maybe, you know, people don't think straight. Listen, I've been on cocaine and fought lots of weird shit, but, you know, I just never videoed what I said. So good thing I didn't, okay? So I think it's time to let it go. Let's move on and talk about how good I am in my face tattoo. I know, but even talking about it, see, I know, but we've all talked about those experiences before. I've heard you say about what he said before. I've heard people, say how he said he was did a video about it, and Dave talked about how he said he was on heroin. Yeah. But I just don't think the time now is to bring all that up again, especially when Lucy's watching and stuff like that.
Perfectly said, Lee.
Yeah, bring it up.
The voice of reason.
Whoever thought I'd be the voice of reason? Let's get this demonetized. Let's talk about cock, pussy, arse, and coming in faces.
Removing you. Hold on, Jimmy. Someone asked me, Jimmy.
What?
About you? Do you have a globe on your desk over there?
I do. Yes.
Uh-oh.
How's my mic? Is it all right? Because you keep muting me.
I was muting you, but you're fine. Let me see this globe.
So what happened was my brother told me
it's a round globe.
It looks flat to me.
Yeah, it looks flat.
You know,
Don't
John.
Listen to him, Jimmy.
I tell you, you're very insulting, John. You really are. I mean, you know, I praise you as an engineer, an architect, a builder, and all you do is bash me. You know?
Hey, Jimmy.
It's unbelievable.
Jimmy.
I mean,
Jimmy,
you know, I praise you about that rock wall. You built that effing rock wall in the backyard. It looked like the Roman days. I can't even explain what the hell you built back there. It was amazing. And all you want to do is trash me.
I'm not. All I said.
All you do. You're always knocking me.
What did I say?
I would have come down here and make meatballs for you and sauce and everything. And all you do is I bring my bike. We can build it together.
I said it looks flat. That's it. I didn't say anything about you.
This is not flat.
I said it looks flat.
The reason why I have it on my desk. What the hell's that bird?
What's that bird?
Those birds.
I think
that's
bird.
I'm outside, Jimmy. But Jimmy, all I can say is they bash you when you're alive. Please don't die, because there's going to be a hell of a video about you and the flat Earth. And
Lee, you were 100% right, because you know why? When people die, you should only talk about the good shit they did, not the bad shit they did.
Exactly, because
that's no. When I die, Johnny, they're going to talk. They're going to be talking about me for days.
Well, I think it's more.
They're going to talk about all the bad shit I did because they can, because I'm dead. So now they can talk about all the bad shit I did. What's with that bird? You got a slingshot. You shoot that bird, will you?
Hey, Jimmy, it's nature. Calm down. Like I think you can talk about the bad and shit, but maybe save it for a couple of months, not the day or two after.
I don't talk about all the bad shit I did. You know why, Lee? I want to forget it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to move on to a new life. Right. I don't want to talk about all the
globe over there if you don't believe in the globe.
I was trying to explain why you asked me, but you guys keep interrupting me. I gotta go on Zoloft soon. So the reason why I got it on the desk is because a lot of shit's been going on in the news, and I told you a little bit about it the other day. So there's new news now. They're saying that Well, I told
That's
you the
right.
other day. I know you don't want to talk about worldly events and what's going on in the world.
Well,
but,
you can talk about it.
that-
Would you change your mind? Are we on a globe again?
No, I did not change my mind. So what happened was I was talking to my brother the other day, and the core of the earth, I told you the last show, the core, whatever's inside the earth, stopped. Okay? And they said that it's going to cause major, storms and weather change and all kinds of stuff.
But
So
wait, Jimmy, wait. I just saw this documentary. What's the name? Who was it? Hillary Swank and them are actually going down to the core, and they're going to restart it. There's a documentary on Netflix about it. I think it's called The Core. I'm not sure who else is in it. James Caan.
I saw that movie, Lee.
Hey,
I saw that movie.
So don't panic. Hillary Swank is going to save it.
Are you serious?
Is that when they brought the duck down there and everything? Is that the movie where they had the duck, the Swedish guy, or the guy who was supposed to?
It's just called The Core.
On this
So anyway,
topic, why don't you guys look up Admiral Jim Byrd and what he had to say after he went to Antarctica and he did his research and the quote unquote hollow Earth. So Jimmy, why don't you take a look at that, Admiral?
No. Listen, hold on, brother. Listen, hold on. Can I say something here?
Now you're startling. Here comes the ice
Admiral Byrd. Okay, it was headed a military operation to go down to the. I don't think it was about the hollow earth. I know all about that hollow earth.
Jimmy, better watch what you say. We don't want to find you dead in the bathroom either.
They're gonna come after me, but you know what, Greg? I'm ready, bro. I'm ready.
You got that thing in your hand. You're ready.
Hey.
They can come to me in the middle of the night. Let me tell you something. They come to my house. They're gonna see a lot of flames and shit coming down the hallway.
Hey,
all right.
I've been on the phone.
Exam, right?
I've been on the phone to Jimmy when he's drunk, handling his weapons. If Jimmy is found shot to death, that was an accident. Trust me.
Remind me never to go visit Jimmy in the middle of the night. He'll fucking.
I was a little drunk that one night, Lee. So let me just explain this real quick.
Even brought the grenade out.
I know. I did. I don't show anybody that grenade. So I must love you because I did show you that grenade. So
I was just worried when you're drunk with your finger on the pin. That was all.
I know, and I've had my pin on it. I've had my finger on that pin many times.
Did he ever play the piano or the guitar when he was on the phone with you? Because I've seen him play the piano and the guitar.
Yes, I've been serenaded many times by
There
Jimmy
you go.
on the phone with the piano.
He's a good man. He could play that shit too.
I wasn't actually playing the piano that was bad. It was that we were both naked while he was playing. That's
I tell you, add a little alcohol, man. I'm not responsible for anything when you add a little alcohol. So
that's what I blame.
Anyway, so forget about the hollow earth and all that. I don't believe in the earth theory. I do believe in the earth is a plane. But anyway, so what's happening now in the news is they're saying this is what now this is not me. This is them. Okay, they are saying that because the Earth's core stopped. I don't know how the hell they know that, and it's reversing. That the Earth now they're saying is gonna flip. The whole Earth is gonna flip upside down.
Well,
that's what they're saying now.
So Lee's going to be in the northern hemisphere now. Good.
I'm going to be on top.
So my question is, like to Lee too, because he's down under. So if the Earth flips, right? So we're on the Earth. So yeah, right.
You still haven't explained why you have the globe, but go ahead.
Well, because I was on the phone with my brother the other day. We were talking about
Wait, I want to hear more about the Earth flipping. I want to hear Jimmy say. I want to hear Jimmy tell me about the Earth flipping.
I can't get a freaking story. I can't even get anything out of it. I feel like I got like Parkinson's disease. So the Earth's supposed to actually start spinning the other way into the west. All right, that's what they're saying.
Flush the opposite direction now.
It's going to reverse. They're saying, and not only it's going to reverse, they said it's going to flip. It's going to flip. So Lee's going to be on top of the world. All right. So my question is, anywhere we go in the world now, we don't know. We feel like we're standing upright. So how the hell are we going to know when this thing flips? How are we going to even know? Because you feel like you're upright anyway.
You won't know. You won't know.
Is it going to happen right away? I mean, it's sure.
Right, exactly. You won't know. That's why they're giving us all this story, because we're never going to know, because we feel like we're upright anyway. Lee feels like he's upright. Look at him. He looks upright to me.
So you're saying we got to take that word.
Here's a question,
Jimmy.
So when the whole thing flips over, does that mean the people at the bottom of the Earth are going to fall up, and the people at the top of the Earth are going to fall down, and they're going to pass each other on the way?
Well,
listen,
high five
John.
on
Let
the way,
me
John.
explain something. I know you like to mess with me with this. I know.
I'm asking
So-
you a question. You're
You're not asking me a question. You're busting my chops. That's what you're doing. You're not asking me a question. You're mocking me.
Wait.
So
Jimmy,
What about
let me
the
ask you a question.
asteroid?
Let me ask you this question. I got another question. So if I was up on the top of the earth and I dug a hole right through the earth, okay, out the bottom where Lee lives, okay, and I said, let me jump down in this hole, and I jumped down feet first. I jumped down feet first. Is Lee going to be on the beach in Australia and see a man shoot out of a hole? Feet first. I mean, think about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It don't make any sense, man.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen, Jimmy? You'll fall down through there, right? You go out the other end. You go back in. You're going to go like ping pong, back and forth. Back and forth.
No, you're gonna first
Which isn't
you'll
moving.
meet that family. You'll meet that family with Shaka and all them, because I saw that documentary. There's this family that went into the earth, and I think it was like the land before time, and they get trapped in this earth, and there's dinosaurs and everything. It's a good documentary. I remember that one. There's this creature
I tell
called
you,
Shaka or something. Shaka.
I know. Listen, Lee, I know it sounds funny. Look what I got. I got a new sticker. Check this out.
Oh, protected. Fuck around and find out.
Oh, I know who sent that to you too, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. I just got it the other day. I'm going to stick it on the front door.
I know exactly who sent you that.
When
Hey,
they
Jimmy,
come for
what
me.
about this big asteroid? What about the big asteroid that we're seeing coming? They said bigger than New York.
I didn't hear about that.
It missed the country.
did?
It missed the world.
I was on the news yesterday, Jimmy.
An
big
asteroid missed the Earth? Yeah.
Yeah, that's because Clint
Right.
Eastwood and all them went up there. I saw this documentary. Clint Eastwood, James Caan and all them, they went up there. They stayed behind and they shifted the asteroid. It was a documentary. I saw that one. Space Cowboys. It's called Space Cowboys.
I thought it was Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck.
It was supposed
that
to
was
be.
the earlier documentary. That was the first.
That was
documentary.
Armageddon.
This
That was
like-
Armageddon you're talking about, Rich.
Yeah,
That was Armageddon.
Yeah.
That was actually a good movie.
Steve Tyler wrote a song about it. It's a well-known documentary. That one.
Yeah.
Let's just mark my words. You guys can joke and laugh all you want, but mark my words. It's gonna come out in the future, believe me.
I gotta go to Frank, because Frank came on as a guest, but we didn't know that.
I'm in
that
the
Leo was
future.
here. I want to ask Frank, since we got Jimmy here and we're breaking his balls, can you give us a good Jimmy the Bull story from back in the day, you Jim?
And they're always breaking my balls. I'm like the punching bag of the show, Frank. That's what they like to do. They like to, and then then when I get all crazy, Dave tells me to calm down. You know, you want to amp me up, you want to make me nuts, and then you want to tell me to calm down. I want to wake up your mind. Where do you want to go?
You got a question, he flips out. So I don't know.
Oh, fuck, because I'm trying to explain a story, and you start breaking my balls, and I start getting excited. Because
Jimmy,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
I'm the nicest guy in the world. Everybody's got to break my chop. I don't know if they're testing me, or when I still see if my testosterone's working. I don't know what it is.
Breathe, Jimmy.
Okay.
Jimmy, breathe.
Jimmy,
breathe,
calm
Jimmy.
down.
Think
Calm
about our
down,
time
Jimmy.
in California.
I have a question. I do have a question, Jimmy. I'm trying to think of a good story about you, but I do have one question first.
Are you still in Florida, Frank? That's my question. You still in Florida?
No,
Yes.
I'm not. I
you're
moved
not?
out.
Okay.
I moved into
Okay.
Virginia, close to my family.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm from Virginia.
Yeah. So Jimmy, I'm going back to your original opening story. I'm trying to figure out, how did you know that you bit the guy 20 times? Did you actually sit there and count it? How did that all?
That was, it's just an expression. I didn't really know how many times. I might have been it 50 times. I don't know.
Because you said it very definitively, so I wasn't sure if you actually sat there or somebody counted it and said, you bit this guy.
Well,
20
that's what
times.
everybody was saying at the party, that I bit the guy
I
20
believe it.
times. So I just went with it.
I believe it 100%. So a funny story about Jimmy. Of course, you guys know about the dungeon that I originally bought from Richie Barrett, and it had no floor support at all, and there was a sub basement. Holes were everywhere, and it was covered by tire tubes that were nailed down with thousands of nails, and so we never knew where these holes were. And one time,
I remember
Jimmy
that, Frank.
Oh yeah, it was Well, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the floor bounced like a trampoline.
It was like walking on the moon in your gym. That's what it did. Yeah, I should have worn a.
So basically, you had tires covering the whole floor. So if there was
It wasn't even tires, Dave. It wasn't even like that thick. It was tire tubes. It was truck tubes, and he had his students, split them open and nail them down all over the floor. So there was, I can't even tell you how many tubes and nails it took to cover that floor. So anyway, Jimmy comes in with Jimmy Quinn, and the two maniacs to walk right over to the dumbbell rack where I had the only set of 200-pound dumbbells in New York State at the time. These things were huge. They looked like truck axles. And Jimmy Quinn takes the, I think they were like 170s, and he starts doing bent over rows, bent over dumbbell rows, and of course dropping them not from arm's length, but from up here. And he's dropping them, and the floor's bouncing and bouncing. Then Jimmy starts doing some exercises. I think he went up to like 180, 190, and he starts doing them, and he drops them. Bottom line, by the time they left, by the time they left, the tube from the tire looked like just a crevice, like Jimmy just said, like the moon. So the floor was flat, and then there was just a crevice. So it didn't go through to the sub basement. They couldn't rip through the rubber, but they left the gym with the dumbbells all over the place and a nice big crevice.
You didn't put them away?
Oh, never. You kidding me?
Oh my God.
No way.
I apologize, Frank.
Well, Jimmy hasn't changed. Jimmy hasn't changed. He did the same thing to the hotel gym in California. Cleared the gym out. They only had like 30-pound dumbbells, but Jimmy was dropping them and slamming the cables, and the hotel guests are like, "We're getting the fuck out of here," because Jimmy's like,
No, Lee, he didn't growl. Jimmy never growled. Jimmy used to
he does now.
He had a specific noise. He had a specific noise. He used to go, hip, hip, hip. Anytime he was doing skull crush, you were like, holy shit.
Part of it.
It was that one too.
He still does that.
485-pound bent over rows, just drop it on the floor, no problem.
Jimmy.
They wrecked the place.
I like the way he tied up the front of his shirt.
Oh yeah,
John.
that was
that
classic.
belly button.
Him and Jimmy.
Where'd you get that picture, Dave?
There it is.
I found it.
Wouldn't you have
Really?
loved to seen Jimmy at World Gym? Imagine Joe Gold.
Oh my God! Forget about it.
Well, Ed Connors don't like me till today. You know that, right?
Well, you destroyed his house.
Yeah.
You took women in the house, Jimmy. I got in trouble because I took girls.
How do you know about that story, John?
In Palm Springs, everybody knows.
He told us.
Everybody knows that story, Jimmy.
You stayed at his house in Palm Springs. You snorted an 8-ball by yourself, and you pulled all the wood off the wall.
Well, he thought he had to get wood somehow. He just took it literally. So. But the main reason
I locked myself out of the house. I broke the door down.
Jimmy, the main reason was because you took a girl home. I used to take girls home to the Venice house, and Ed didn't like that. I think it was like maybe girl germs. So I think taking women home to that house. If it ain't got a swinging dick,
right.
If it ain't got a swinging dick, don't bring it through the front door, Jimmy. That was like the rules.
You're right, Lee. Anyway, make a long story. I fixed Ed's whatever I damaged. I fixed.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about? Listen,
around.
I didn't mean. I was fucked up that night. I'm sorry. I was a little drunk that night. I didn't mean to. I don't know.
You left it. You didn't fix anything. You left it. That's why he was pissed off. If you fixed it, he wouldn't have seen anything was wrong. But he drives all the way out there from LA, think he's going to spend the weekend in his beautiful Palm Springs house. and he walks up the front. He goes, what the fuck? It looks like he got robbed.
So what happened that night was I did a seminar with Lou Ferrigno that night in the Gold's Gym, right? and I benched. I don't know. I was all excited with myself. I benched like 7.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Here we go. The
lost.
ghost of Joe Gold.
now we're back to the King of Wood, Lee Priest.
Back to the globe, Jimmy. Back to the globe,
there
Jimmy.
he
Back to the globe.
Anyway, make a long story short, that's what happened. I partied. I was like a rock star. Ended up back in the house.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't know what happened to the house. I don't know. I fixed it though. I fixed it.
Yes.
That is a lie. You did not fix it.
I had the. I found the in the rec room in the community. There's cards, and I found a carpenter's. I called the guy. I said, "Could you please come and put the towel rack back on the wall and fix the holes in the sheetrock?" I said, "By the way, the front door's off the hinges. Could you fix that?"
Jimmy,
So the
Jimmy
guy
straightened the
fixed it,
doormat
he
before he
painted
left.
it. Ed didn't see anything. I don't know what he.
That's
what he
not
saw.
true. I'm getting Ed back on the show.
Yeah.
Ed saw it. Ed saw it because he's got cameras hidden in the house, Jimmy. That's why he saw it.
I hope he didn't,
saw
because
everything.
he got an eyeful. That's for sure.
Oh, he'd prefer a faceful, but an eyeful's not bad. But if you give him a faceful, you can't.
Well,
Hey, did you hear Cindy Williams died from Laverne and
Yes.
Shirley?
Oh, she
Yes.
did?
Yeah.
And so did Wednesday, the original Wednesday.
Wow.
Who did? From the Addams family?
Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wednesday.
the original Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, but she died on
Yeah.
Monday.
Has anyone seen that new
Oh, no,
series
that
on
sucks,
Netflix,
doesn't it?
Wednesday? It's really
Yes.
good.
Yes.
I
It's
like
not
it.
bad.
I got a question, Dave.
Yeah.
So the movie, the Buzz Lightyear, the new one. Did you hear about that movie?
With the,
The
no,
gayness.
is it Flat Earth?
No Flat Earth. No,
Well,
The
Buzz
gayness,
Lightyear, that's old.
no. There's a new
The
one that
gayness.
came out. It's
I
called
see.
Light.
Yeah, I saw it
Yeah,
on TV. I don't know if my kids watched it yet or not. Why?
It's
What's
called-
wrong with
called-
Don't
Buzz-
let don't
it's called-
please don't let him watch.
It's called
No?
it's called Buzz Light Loafers.
it? He's
But
gay?
he spoke. That's because
Is it
Buzz
Fucking
Lightyear is
training
gay,
stuff?
bro.
Oh, really?
I don't even understand.
No.
Listen,
It's the new woke world, buddy. He's not. It's the new woke world. Jimmy,
I
you
watched
keep
the
calling
new
that
Star Trek
thing.
series. Everyone's gay or transgender on there.
Hey,
It's-
Jimmy.
It's crazy.
yeah, but
Hey,
what's
Jimmy,
the point?
Jimmy, listen
I mean,
though,
look,
Jimmy.
if you're gay,
Jimmy,
go
the
do
point-
your
Pure
thing.
Flicks. Pure Flicks.
Jimmy, the point is,
all the clean
the point
stuff.
is, if you, John and I and Dave are going into outer space, and it's just us 4 men in a capsule for like months on end, guess what? We're going to be gay by the time we come back. It's lonely in space, Jimmy.
Speak for yourself.
It's lonely in space.
I'm
And
not
no one
going
can
to
hear you
space
scream.
anymore.
Yeah, I'm not going
Yeah.
No
there.
one,
I'm
no one can
changing.
hear you
I'm not-
scream
I've heard
either.
I'm not going on the
Here,
5-year mission with you, Lee, anymore.
That's
Sorry.
a
Hey.
horrible visual, Lee.
Well,
Hey,
There's
no one
there's
can,
no such
no one
thing
can
as
hear you
space, so I'm
scream.
not worried about it.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, it doesn't matter as long as Jimmy doesn't have that thing in his hand because you know where it was.
That
It
was, yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
this, right? Jimmy keeps
No, he
holding
thought he
that
had
thing.
he thought he was
Don't let
jacking up
go.
a car. He was jacking up a car in back. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
And you keep holding it and putting it near your face. It's hilarious.
The question is, Jimmy, did you get a hard on?
I did get a little
Yes,
woody. That's
he
what
did.
worried me. That's why I told
Yeah.
these guys, to get it out of there. You know what I mean?
Hey,
My
Jimmy,
doctor,
I got
normally,
bad.
my doctor
Jimmy,
normally puts his finger in one.
No, the
Jimmy's
best
doctor
part
kept
was the
doing
nurse
this.
came and got it. She took it off the table and she wiped it down with an alcohol swab.
Jimmy, here's the bad news. Jimmy, here's the bad news. There's no such instrument for
Exactly.
Oh my God, crazy. That's
Is
so
that what they
funny.
do now? That thing?
You know, I got to say something, Frank. I never saw the monitor. So I'm now you got me thinking, man.
There's no such
to the-
instrument,
The
Jimmy.
doctor was
I
naked
think your
too.
doctor had a little too
Yeah.
much.
Lied to you, Jimmy.
Yeah,
there's no instrument.
he had the thing up my hoo-hoo, and he had the monitor was like facing this way, so
Uh-huh.
I didn't know. I didn't see anything up there.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
hey, Jimmy,
You know,
if
I don't
you
know
want
what
to see it, if you
He faked you out,
if
man.
you want to see it, Jimmy, just log on to your doctor's OnlyFans. I saw it last night. It was $9.99 it cost me.
Hey, Jimmy.
Wasn't
Lee
bad.
Priest, the king of wood.
Yes.
Jimmy,
I
didn't
actually
it
got Wood
confuse you
watching it,
that
Jimmy.
the doctor was naked when he was
What?
naked too? Didn't it confuse you that he was naked too?
yeah.
How come
Yeah.
you're naked when I got to take the prostate exam?
What should have gave it away, Jimmy, was the GoPro strapped to your doctor's cock. Now, I'm not saying anything, but
Oh my God!
that
No,
should have given
a
it away.
couple of visits before, he had his buddy there. He did that, and then his buddy did it. I had two guys doing it.
And they were both
that was his witness so he could say it wasn't rape. You agreed to it.
Oh, he did the same thing, the other guy. The boy says, holy shit, 2 years? I said, you know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. I mean, he checked my prostate a lot. I'd say probably like a good 4 or 5 times in 1 year. Is that normal?
I don't know. That's something sounds
Yeah, sure.
That's a relationship.
Problem.
That's a relationship, Jimmy. You're in a relationship.
I thought you get your prostate checked once a year. I got it checked 4 or 5 times already.
Once every 5 years, Jimmy.
At least that's what he's telling you.
Once every
You got raped, Jimmy.
But the funny thing is, Jimmy knows you only have it checked once a year, but he's been back 4 times.
Yeah.
Are you that lonely, Jimmy?
Jimmy keeps making appointments.
What do I know? I'm naive. What do I know? I'm thinking that I got to get it checked 4 or 5 times a year. I don't know.
Jimmy's going to call up next week. Yeah, I know you've done it 4 times, but I think you should just check again. I feel something down there.
I had to go get a sonogram Lee, the other night. I told you on my kidneys. I had to go get a freaking sonogram. I went 7:30 at night. I walk in, nobody's in the place. The nurse is there. I says, "Yeah, I'm here to get the sonogram." Okay, she hands me this paper. She goes, "Read this, fill it out." Okay, sign it. Then she gives me another paper, like 3, 4, 5, 6. I says, "Am I gonna die in this procedure?" I says, "How many papers I gotta sign over here? I'm getting a sonogram on my kidney. What are you guys doing over here?" She says, "No, you're not gonna die." I says, "Oh, thank God." You know what I mean? Just for a sonogram.
She said,
by the way,
bad news is you're pregnant.
By the way, I want to show you guys. If you guys haven't seen this stuff, have you guys seen this Tyranny stuff you add to like coffee?
Tranny stuff.
A tranny.
A tranny.
Tyranny. It's an Italian name. It's sugar.
It's a coffee.
It's like cream. It's like coffee creamer.
Listen to me. It's not a creamer. It's a sweetener, but it's completely carb free. Okay, it's just sucralose. It's unbelievable. This stuff.
What do you do with it?
You put it in your coffee. It's got no calories. It's
where do you get it?
In anything.
I ordered it on Amazon. It's phenomenal.
What's the sweetener, Dave?
It's phenomenal,
chemicals.
though. It'll make the coffee. You can drink black coffee with this.
What's the name of it? I'm going to write this down. What's the name of
it? TOR.
Killer dogs.
Vanilla, sugar free.
Hey, Dave, what's the artificial sweetener?
Sucralose.
Sucralose? Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing else in it. I look, you know me, I'm like an investigator.
Yeah.
The Italians do everything right. You know that.
They do.
That's right.
Heaven forbid you had 2 or 3 grams of carbs in your coffee. Oh, holy fuck. Ooh.
No, but it's for people who are dieting because girls will pour the whole bottle in there otherwise.
Oh, fuck them. They're eating bad food. Oh, come on, 3 or 2 grams of carbs ain't gonna kill them. Come on, they're eating more shit than that. Get a life, people.
Lee, I know people that if this was a bottle and had sugar in it, they'd be drinking this stuff while they're dieting because they cheat, you know.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
I gotta order
doesn't
that.
Matter.
So how does it taste?
No, you don't,
coffee,
Jimmy.
Dave? Good.
Jimmy, just
unbelievable. If you like vanilla, they got a hazelnut too. You got to make sure you get the sugar-free one though. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, you'll lose your mind. It's great.
Oh.
I'm
gonna have a wink about it.
I'm telling you, Jimmy.
Romano, are you really gonna get that facelift surgery?
Yep.
Don't
do it, John.
No, I'm not doing a facelift. Just
get the eyes.
Eyes and the cheeks.
What are you doing to your eyes, John?
Huh?
Yeah, the eyes look good. My
Right
friends
under
have
here,
got
man.
that looks good.
Lower lid?
That lip.
Yeah.
John, they got cream for that, John. You don't need surgery.
Yeah, but it's you have to run every 15 minutes. It doesn't work.
Armon, the plastic surgery king. What did you say?
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean I had a lot of friends that had that eye surgery, like where they cut the skin out. It looks really good, but
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I was listening to John talking about him pulling his. John would look.
I told him not
to
to do the facelift.
That's how John looks.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I got talked out of that.
Yeah,
John, what's the
John, do it. Do it. Don't listen to these guys.
It's weird when guys start doing their stuff to their face.
John, how
about the neck, Armon? You know, a lot of guys, when you get older, you start getting the fucking the turkey neck. You know what I mean?
You mean like this?
Okay.
You mean like this, Jimmy?
No, I got it. I'm saying I start. So yeah, exactly. So when I was a little younger, I used to pray to God. I said, God, no matter what happens, please don't give me the turkey neck. Please, I don't want to. Please don't let it
Jimmy,
happen.
you could get Botox.
Jimmy, you got a double
chin.
chin.
You know that, right?
What are you talking about?
That's like the D-ball, man. Like from the D-ball.
I want John to get the surgery. John, if you bunch of guys here that inject steroids and get big and muscles and veins everywhere, and here you are trying to look good, and you got these Neanderthals trying to tell you don't do it. John,
no, he wouldn't look good. He looks good right now.
How do you know? He's going to look great, John. I'm all for it. You do it, John.
Unfortunately,
your fault,
Jimmy.
I didn't even know John's got a. The facelift, right?
You what?
Jimmy.
John would do it, then you'll all want to do it
I'm
after
not-
John
I'm
does
just
it.
gonna
Like,
do the
oh
eye.
fuck.
That's all I'm doing. Is my
maybe they
Hey,
do.
John,
We got a lot of
just-
60-plus-year-old guys on the set here. Maybe you guys can get a package deal, Mr. G. Too.
yeah, maybe we should get them all at once.
All I know is getting old sucks, and it's going to happen to everybody. So nobody's getting.
Greg,
away
you
with
want a
it,
facelift
I
too?
would do that chin thing when I get older.
Yeah, I would do
that.
the thing for the neck. You know?
Dave, I need a whole new face. I need a whole new mug. Can they do a transplant?
Yeah, I've seen it. There's a
Hey, you never saw that movie Face Off with
Movie
John
Face
Travolta?
Off, remember?
Of course
Yeah.
they could do it.
Yeah, that was a documentary, wasn't it? That's like all the other movies.
The one John Travolta was in that movie Face Off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Face Off,
Nicolas
yeah.
Cage. Nicolas
I
Cage
know
was a
that.
good show.
Yeah, it was based on a true
Johnny,
story.
John Bravo, where did
Yeah.
you get your facelift done?
Funny.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo.
The only surgery I did was my nose because I busted it sometime. Everyone knows.
And
this
the hair
story, right?
transplant. The hair
Dude,
transplant.
I will. If
I
I
want
need
to
it.
look like Johnny. I want
Big
Johnny.
Rob
I need Johnny's
busted his
face put on
nose and
mine
he had to get it fixed.
with the hair.
What do they Lee? What do they do for turtle dick?
Hey, Jim.
What happens when you get all these fucking turtle dick?
They put a
Jimmy.
broom handle up your ass and
Yeah,
they push
Frank.
it through and it comes out.
Jimmy, let me just tell you this, man.
Yeah.
I'm close to 70 now, and it's like
I
this.
can't believe that.
Yeah, this thing here. When I woke up one morning and I looked in the mirror and I went, "The hell's that?"
Where'd it come from?
It's
I
like
know.
it's like my father appeared onto my neck.
Yeah. The
I
same
was
thing
like,
happened
"Holy-
to me, Frank. I got up one morning. I look in the mirror. And I'm going to look at my neck. I'm going, what the freak? I said, no, not me. This can't happen to me. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I'm telling you, you turn into your father. That's it.
Growth hormone, that's all.
It's over.
63 now, man. What the freak?
Hormone, Frank.
I'm
Listen
69,
to me,
bro.
Yeah,
Just
man.
take some growth
Now,
hormone.
Frank, I wish that was true. Frank, my father had a full head of hair and everything. Look at me. I'm like a fucking. I'm horrible.
You shave your head,
Well, he
Greg.
didn't take gear. He
Yeah,
probably
but
didn't take
still,
gear,
my
though.
father.
Yeah, Greg, I'm sure your father didn't take the stuff you took to
Yeah,
cause
your dad
that
did
hair
not take
loss.
your Neanderthals, dude.
You're
Yeah,
right
but
with
Greg, how
that.
about your mother's side of the family, Greg? How they got their hair?
Nah, they're bald.
That's
That's
why.
why I got. I think.
Yeah.
Her one brother was bald. The other one still has his hair. But my father didn't even have a bald spot. It was total. Nothing appeared. Nothing. Just total.
Hair.
The Italian
Italians either
fucking
have great
contour.
hair or they have horrible hair. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, true.
John
What's the-
Bravo
what's
has
the
the
You're gonna
best
get
Newman
gray
hair
when
on
you
this
get older.
podcast. John Bravo has the best hair on this podcast, period.
By
Absolutely.
far.
It looks like one of the things you
Hey,
glue on. It
mine's
looks so
not.
good.
Guy's
Mine's
a
not
model.
bad.
Look at him. Look at John. He's a fucking
Mine-
model. Look at him.
Look at him.
My hair's
John,
not
how
bad
old are you
for
now,
50.
John?
44.
44.
Yeah, you're still
okay.
young, man.
It takes them,
Forty.
it takes them 2 hours to get ready for the show. Are you kidding me?
Look at this.
Look at
this,
this. It takes
50.
me 20 minutes. That's it. My hair.
Everywhere.
My hair.
Stand up.
I wake up with my hair like this. People don't realize I have
Dude,
4
John
seasons.
looks young.
Lee's got good hair. Lee, can you style
Yeah,
your
look
hair
at
like
this,
John
50.
Bravo's?
Yeah, I just blow dry it up because it's really long. Look. I can pull it
Yeah.
right up. I got
You
jelly.
should blow dry it. You should blow dry it like John Bravo. See if you can dress up like him
Yeah.
next week.
Lee, you should have a
No one-
mohawk.
No one's got a
You need a
transplant hair.
mohawk. With that tattoo on your eye, you need a mohawk, man.
I have a
Yeah,
haircut.
like Mel Chansky. He should get his due.
Is
Yeah.
any of y'all gonna get a hair transplant?
Mel's mohawk is getting smaller and smaller. You notice that?
What happens?
It's like a cockatoo.
That's what you do. You start pushing it together. And
John Bravo and I are the only ones that have our real hair, huh?
Yeah, you got the good
I
hair.
got real
Ameen,
hair.
too, yeah.
This is real hair.
I mean, you've been
This is
taking
real.
finasteride too.
Well, I was taking it for a little bit, but then I stopped for 9 days when I was incarcerated.
Okay, that doesn't do anything. The DHT levels is not high enough. What about Lee? You take it on Friday.
I've
I have hair too, but I
My
shave
hair
it because
was
I don't want to have gray hair,
amazing.
so I shave my head. That's
No,
why
wait,
I
Lee,
shave
I'm
my head.
curious.
You're full of shit,
Ponytail
Jimmy.
back, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you're full of shit, man.
No, I got hair. I have hair.
Dave, pull up that picture again. Pull up that picture of him and Jimmy Quinn.
You remember the ponytail he had? Remember the ponytail?
He's got hair in the back of his head. Who's he
Do
bullshit?
you remember
Let me
the
tell you
rap?
something, a lot of chicks like that little ponytail.
Yeah,
I
but
have,
the
man.
funny thing was,
here in the ponytail
yeah,
in the back.
a lot of chicks like it, but the funny thing was that Jimmy can't reach the back of his neck, so somebody else had to put the rap.
You're right. You're right, John.
Can you do a close up of that head, Dave?
Let me see. Hold
That
on.
full head of hair.
Oh, come on, man.
Frank would know this. Frank and John and everyone. Have you noticed as you get older too, you get more hair coming out your fucking ears and nose and shit? It's
Oh yeah, it grows everywhere where it's supposed to.
I know. I got to
Lee,
shave my
one
fucking
time I
ears
saw
now.
a guy in
do
the supermarket, Lee. He had so much
I get
hair
waxed.
coming out of
I
his
get waxed
ears.
weekly.
The
Nose,
guy
ears.
scared the shit out of me, man. He had hair coming out of his ears. I never seen anything like it in my life. I was like, I couldn't stop staring at the guy.
Was it a full moon? He might have been changing Jimmy. Was it a full moon?
I don't know. I swear to God, it was like
the first gym owner I ever where I used to
if
work
you
out,
see, if
the
you see
guy
my
had a
back when
fucking
it's not
curl
done,
and
you'd
looked
be
into his
amazed.
other
Like
nose.
my 7-year-old
Hold
son.
on, one at a time.
oh, wait, so talking about a changing world, I mean, so what about the skater that just won some kind of medal? He's a guy, changed it to a female, and did you hear about that?
The swimmer.
No, he was a skater.
A skater?
He's a freaking Olympic skater. He's a guy that he changed over. Now he's like winning a
transgender.
Yeah.
Did he start his unit or did he remove his unit?
Dude, those
No, he
two
still got
girls
that.
that he beat, they actually turned their backs on him like this on the fucking. They
Good.
turned their backs when he was on the podium. They turned their backs.
That's because they wanted him to.
Tundo.
Yeah, that's because they wanted him to do it from behind. That's why they turned their backs on him.
Dude, they were just as ugly as he was. Oof.
Wait, Greg, did you see that guy?
Yeah,
whatever the hell.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That lady, Jimmy.
Girls
That
that he
lady,
beat,
please,
turned their
please, Jimmy,
backs
that
on him.
lady.
Listen, these days, if you're a girl and you're 13, you can get testosterone. But if you're a boy and you're having a delayed puberty, tough shit.
Yeah,
Bro, I would listen to this.
I don't know.
told
Listen,
Dave
man.
before.
I don't care what goes on in this world. I'm not conforming, man. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I just can't. Out of these people
I've
are out of
told
their
you,
minds. The shit that's
don't
going on is that, huh?
I've told you before. Don't knock the trannies. Don't knock the trannies because I was once with a tranny, and you know the best thing about being with it. You know the best thing about being. You know the best thing about making love to a tranny? That when you're sliding their ass, you can reach around the front and pretend you went all the way through.
You always gross.
You know what scares me, Lee? You know what scares me about you? You actually thought this shit out.
And that's
because I never would have even thought of something like that. That I shoved my sausage in the guy, and it looked like it came out the other. Right.
Okay.
How do you know I didn't think it through? How do you know I didn't experiment and try?
I believe it.
Greg Valentino, all you guys have been with trannies, huh?
No, I haven't really.
I gotta admit, I went to a tranny show.
I haven't yet, but I'm still young.
I went to a tranny show in the Florida Keys. I thought it was a lot of fun. I did.
I know.
You went to a transvestite show. That's different.
The guy dressed up like Cher.
That's different. Yeah, that's different.
You know how Jimmy tells that story.
Those are drag queens. That's different.
Drag queens.
Jimmy,
yeah.
Those aren't.
Jimmy
trannies.
tells that
That's
story
different.
on here.
I used to work
you're
at
right,
a gay
drag
bar.
queen.
I used to dance with trannies like every night. I used to work at a gay bar. I worked at a gay bar for like 7 years when I was bodybuilding. I was around so many trannies and gays. Not one night I thought like, hey, would it be fun to hook up with this tranny? That never went through my mind. So, and then the guy I worked with all the time, I would say, I don't care. I would say if I was with a tranny, the guy I worked with all the time.
Armon.
So Armon, what's the difference between a drag queen and a tranny? I don't understand. What's the?
A
I went to a
queen is
drag
just
queen.
like, they wouldn't be just like if you just put some like a wig on and a dress and started singing and doing whatever. Tranny is, really tries to live a life of it.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you the technical.
I'm going to dress up like a drag queen next week on the show. How about that?
Jimmy, I'll tell you.
Trannies used to always have.
Please send me a link.
I think Mr. G always dresses like a tranny sometimes.
I got if you want the scientific, Jimmy, the scientific difference between a drag queen and a tranny is a drag queen spits, a tranny swallows.
Lee,
scientific evidence.
You are seriously sick, man.
Dave,
you have some serious issues, bro.
You do so well for like the first hour.
I know. We let Lee on the show. That's why. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing me on. Thanks for bringing on the voice of reason.
So transvestites always have GHB, right? I think Dave knows this. Transvestites always have GHB. So my friend, we talked about it. My ex-friend, we used to go hang out with trannies, and he would always have sex with the trannies, and I would go look through their house for the gallons of G. And I would take them out. Usually they would have some in the freezer.
You should have went to Bill Cosby's house.
Oh my God!
Trannies always would have GHB, so if I wanted to,
we need to do stand up.
Go hang out with the tranny, and
I am standing up, but you wouldn't see me.
We were hanging out with them one night, and I come back out, my friend's railing this tranny, and it's just flopping in the front. You know who I'm talking about. Dave, I'm getting to talk about him on the past.
I'm getting
you're talking about Greg.
Stop this.
Talking about Greg. That's
Stop this dirty talk. Stop this dirty
Nathan has
talk.
put a warning on this show. Sexually explicit content.
The GHBs, that shit we used to drink back in the day, right? Amon, the GHBs, that shit we used to drink back in the day, right?
They always have G.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, isn't that stuff that used to like make you drink it and you like whacked out of your mind?
You know what it is. Don't play like you don't know what G is.
You sold it in your store. Jimmy sold it in his store under the counter.
I did. How did you know?
You didn't play like you don't know what G is.
Yeah. Did you have that one? Was it the Verb and all the yellow one and the blue one and the red, all that shit?
Renutrient.
Firewater.
You know, you want to hear something funny? I used to sell out at my store. That was my best seller, that shit. I used to sell out of that shit. And then all of a sudden, the federal government.
What is that shit?
What is Jimmy,
that shit? Like, motherfucker, you know what it is.
You know, you guys, we were doing so well, and then as soon as Lee came on, we turned yellow.
Oh, blame me.
They pulled the monetization because you guys, the curses are flying out of your mouth. So,
what do they got? What do they got? Like code blue and code red now for the show?
Bravo, tell them how it works.
You got to be kidding me, Dave.
Listen, they see when you curse. So if they see that you're cursing, the Indians watching the logs, and he demonetizes the show.
Oh no. Well,
how do they monitor the show, John? I mean, there's a million podcasts out there going on.
Yeah, and they get
AI. It's an AI.
It's just AI that reads. It takes the words that we say, it converts
all these people. I mean, worldwide. And what if there's like millions of podcasts going on right now? They know we're cursing.
Yeah, there is. It can't. If you do it, demonetize. That's it. And the problem with demonetization is the reach of the video will never get there to what a monetized video would be. That's the biggest thing. So it's not just the money; it's the fact that the video.
I always get cancelled. I was on a podcast the other day, and they said it might have got cancelled because I was talking about how when I was younger, right, I was going to go into real estate and sell homes and that. So when I was in Sydney, showing this mansion to these people, this family, and they got mad at me and caught up, and I lost my job because I was showing them the kitchen and stuff. I said, it's a beautiful kitchen. It's got an island here. Said beautiful big oven, big enough for the whole family. Little did I know they were Jewish. So when the father went mad at me, I thought, fuck you for having being offended. They went and I showed them the bathroom. So you know what I did? When I showed them the shower, I turned off the light and went.
Oh, you're sickly.
That's fucked up.
Listen, we need Elon Musk to buy YouTube, and then we could say what we want.
Right.
Wait, so Dave, let me ask you.
When you were on,
Are they rating? Are they
Lewis's
rating
channel
the show
other
right
day.
now, Dave? I'm serious. Are
Yeah.
they
They
rating?
must be, because we went yellow. So they must be hearing all your curses flying.
I didn't say any curses, man. I'm curbing my curses today. I didn't say anything.
I think we've all said them.
If you curse so bad, you don't even know you're cursing.
Yeah.
So what do you mean with yellow? I don't. What does that mean?
I mean, we were green 70% of the episode. We were green.
I was on Flexes. Yes, I'm on. Yes, I was on Flexes. He got the.
When did it go yellow?
Yeah, he was legit
It went yellow. It went yellow, and Lee talked about putting it in and grabbing it on the other side. That was the part when it went yellow.
You started as soon as you start talking about trannies, that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Really?
I find that.
You can't even talk about trannies now.
transphobic.
I thought it was about
That's
cursing. Now you
transphobic.
can't talk about trannies.
It's the subject matter too. It's not just the curse.
Subject matter.
Lee, if
yeah.
it walks like a duck, it quacks
I
like
can't
a duck.
believe this.
All I
I'm
did was
wrapping up
praise
this,
them. I said nothing
sausage party
negative.
here.
I said I love the trannies. I love the trannies. We said nothing negative. Jesus Christ!
It comes up every episode.
It'd be like talking about Catholic priests. If it wasn't for the Catholic priest, I wouldn't have had my first sexual experience up behind the pulpit. It's like Jesus. When he said this is the body.
Before it turns red.
When he said this is the body of. When he had that wafer.
Before they delete it.
What's this world coming to, really? You know, Lee, what's this world coming to, man?
Jimmy,
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Wafer, and he said, "This is the body of Christ." And then he put his cock in my mouth. I said, "Hey, the body of Christ."
Stop! Oh, God. I got to remove No saying that.
Glad you brought me on.
Don't say that.
Frank, thanks for joining us today. Ameen, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
And please support Ameen Alai and help him.
And also, let me say something before we close down.
Yeah.
I want to say a prayer for Leo, his family, his wife, his kid, and also how disappointing it is for me when I see comments when people die and people say such mean things about somebody when they die. I can't understand what kind of human beings exist. So I'm encouraging people when someone dies, try to say something good about them or don't say anything at all. That's what I'm saying.
Very
on
true.
top of that,
Very
when
true.
someone's alive, also don't say anything bad about them either. How about that?
And we weren't trying to disrespect.
Yeah,
We
you know
were
what,
just
Armon?
talking about his death.
How about if you don't got nothing good, don't say nothing at all? How about that?
There you go.
Ameen.
That's what my mother used to say.
You made a really good point.
My mom used to say
Talk
that
good
too.
about people when you're alive. No one's going to talk bad about you when you're dead.
That's correct, John.
Yes,
That's
but,
a very
but humans
good.
humans don't do that. Sadly, that's the sad thing. Humans don't do that because we're all fucked. There's another. Really doing the red yet, John?
No, listen,
Is it
guys,
the
we
red?
all make mistakes in life, man. We all do shit, but when you die, you know what I mean? You gotta think about
You
the
got to
good.
show
about-
respect to their loved ones. That's
Yeah,
right.
you have to because of the pain that they're in, you know. Just imagine. You don't want to imagine that happening to your life, and then
No, and listen,
This-
I support Lucy and her daughter 100%.
She messaged me too. She was not. She's not happy. You know. I
She's
feel
not
bad.
happy. I understand.
Well, you know, but I mean, you made a good point. No one cared about your son and your family when Leo was disparaging you and assassinating your character and costing you your business because of the lies he made up about you. So
I know, but you've already done a
I
video
hope
about that. That's the thing. You don't need to bring it up
But
on
we
this.
weren't trying to disrespect. We were legit just talking. We were having conversations about not one of us disrespected him or tried to put him down in any possible way. We're not happy that he died. We're talking about what we thought.
It's not even just you guys though. If you read the comments on my video's got like 800 comments, and some of the comments of people, I'm like, how do human beings like this exist? They say things like this about people.
You know they
I think
do,
they got
John.
a
Come on.
They've got to
You
be
know they do.
Let's say that's
It's the internet and they're cowards. They don't have to.
No, but
boast
what kind of
about who
person?
they
What
are
kind of person do you
whatever.
have to be to say the shit that these people say?
They're keyboard warriors, John. That's what they hide. They hide in their room and they just
John
type
Bravo,
away.
John Bravo. Unlike me, like the same shit I say to you about the Buffalo Bills
Oh, geez.
message, I'll say that shit to you in your face.
And you don't want me opening my mouth on you because I told you if you say that shit, tease me with the Bills, I'll make your bitch ass cry. So shut the fuck up.
You know what? At the end of the day, Leo was really a lost soul, and he had a lot of potential and a lot of good stuff inside of him that could have been put to positive use. And whether it was mental illness or it was any kind of substance abuse, we don't know that. whatever derailed him from his journey on this planet. It's a shame because he did have a lot to contribute. He just did it and then decided to do it in a negative manner. And you know what? We got to just say a prayer for his soul. Hopefully he's in a better place right now and he's at peace. And hopefully his family can find peace and moving forward. And that's how we have to leave it pretty much. There's nothing else really to say. We'll find out once the autopsy's done exactly what happened and the crime scene is analyzed by the forensic guys over there. And that's really it. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today and participating in this show. And it's a sad day anytime someone dies. And that's really we've been reporting too many deaths in our industry over the last couple of years. And whether it's caused by disease or COVID or even suicides or accidental ODs or whatever the case may be, it's still a death and it still hurts just as much. So I guess
Dave, look at that show, just that show. Okay, Leo's gone, Austin's gone, Armon is the last man standing.
Yeah, you're the next one to go. People were messaging me that on my phone.
Here's the problem: when people do extreme things, okay, there can be extreme consequences, and
extreme
outcomes. And it can happen to any of us. All right, Rich Piana, Boston, when people live on the edge and they want to put themselves out there as extremists, they're going to get a lot of people watching them, but there's also repercussions. So you always have to try to create balance in your life. If you don't have that balance, you wind up pushing too far, and then you can't come back from it. And
I agree with Lee Priest. I think everybody should just go fucking training. Right?
It's like the Dalai Lama said. The Dalai Lama went into a pizza shop and he said, "Make me one with everything."
I also want to say this real quick, Dave.
Armon, before you even say anything, Armon, how many DMs I got by people, and they were worried about you last week on the show.
Yeah, let me clear that up. Okay, so
I was worried about you too.
Yeah, I told you.
Last week, obviously, let me just clear it up. So I shouldn't have to defend myself, but a real addict would be mad. They'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm on the shit." Okay. I have kids. My boy stays up. I shouldn't have to get this, but my boy stays up till about midnight. He's 3 years old. He's a wild kid. So me and my wife, we start fulfilling orders about midnight to 4 a.m. We used to go to bed at 4, wake up at 7, take him to school. We've been doing about 3 hours of sleep for the past year. And, I even had my wife talk to Dave's wife the other day about fulfilling orders for my supplements, shipping them out, because we do it all ourselves. And so I get to a point where some nights I don't even go to sleep. I just work through the night, and eventually I just go until I crash. And unfortunately, I was crashing on there. I help a lot of people that I've been clean for 2 years. I help a lot of people that's on opiates, and everybody's like wants to see someone fail. I mean, I read some of the comments. People were actually happy. They're like, "Oh, he's an act like that." I actually he fucked up and he failed. No, I didn't relapse or fail. I was legit like that. But I do help a lot of people that are recovering, and it's like people will talk down to someone, and you could be that next person that has a surgery, it gets on pain meds. The next thing you know, 3 years down the line, you're still. I mean, it's that's the way it happened with me. And so people like to see people fail and mess up and fall, and that's not what happened. And Dave would call me out like he did before when I was actively on it, and that's when me and Dave hit like that because Dave gave me a tough love talk that I didn't like. Yeah. So
I talked to Armon. I could tell he wasn't on any kind of drugs. He was really tired though. But I want to give a plug to Jimmy the Bull. Jimmy, musclemobster.com. We ran your commercial before the show. You weren't here. If you want to get Jimmy's new lifting straps, they are finally available. Musclemobster.com. Check them out.
Thank you so much.
And let me Dave. He gave me a pair of those at 2 a.m. one day, and I used them. And I still use them all the time. They're great straps. You'll love them.
And Lee tied his penis to his coffee table with them, and they didn't give out, right, Lee?
Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Great grip, good stretching. They hold on to anything.
So what's the website again, Jimmy?
Musclemobster.com.
Jimmy, what's the website?
Musclemobster.com.
Yeah, musclemobster.
Musclemobster.com.
I want to thank everybody for your support. Dave, thank you for your support. Johnny Bravo, thank you for your support. John Romano, thank you for your support. I want to thank my son's mother, Krizia, for her support. She's been nothing but an angel to me. I love her to death. She's the greatest. And I want to thank my family, my mother and my brother. And I want to just thank everybody who believes in me. Thank you, guys.
And prayers
Yeah,
for
you'll
Armon.
make it. Don't worry about it.
Legal stuff is horrible.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I said Armon. I mean,
Yeah.
God bless you, bro.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it, brother. I really do.
Yeah,
I'm facing my life.
A lot of us been in legal trouble, and that's some hard shit to go through.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
hard. So
facing life, but I know I'm innocent, and I know I'll be vindicated.
Yeah, I mean, you're facing life in prison, right?
I'm facing life in prison. That's correct.
Wow.
That's bullshit, man.
Yeah.
that's why I lost everything on
That's
attorney.
bullshit.
So I get it.
Well, if worse comes to worse, Dave has that bookie done.
Where's the birds twerping with Lee?
I have a feeling Lee has some little gadget or something. He's making it.
Yeah, they got cool birds in Australia.
I'm near McDonald's. Look, it's the birds.
I thought he was fucking around too.
You got the cockatoos in the tree?
Oh, yeah,
No, he's got something he's fucking around with.
He said he had a cockatoo.
Hey,
And Greg, out of
Richard, a
all
lot of
the
people
good
say,
guys, who's the best
Richard,
one?
people were saying, you haven't said it 2 words the whole episode, but you have a personal relationship with Tony Huge, so and a business, so you're trying to, stay out of it, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay out of it, man. That's the main reasons why. And at the end of the day, it's like everybody here knows their place. It's like we have great synergy. So who cares if like one person only says 1 or 2 words in one of the shows?
No, but you have a lot of insight into what happened, but you just can't say anything, right?
Exactly. I was told, when I heard what transpired through the stories that John Bravo posted, I reached out to Tony and his investor personally, and they told me what really truly transpired and how devastated they are, and that's all that matters. I wish I could say stuff, but it would be a breach of what a breach of contract, man.
We understand.
Richard, you're better off, bro. Too many people relish in this shit. People love a good disaster. They love it. They they masturbate to this shit. They love it when somebody dies. They love it when there's drama. Love it when somebody gets locked up. They fucking jerk off to this.
Well, I said if some shit happens to me, I gave Dave permission and Nick make a video first.
But to answer your question, to answer the question about Halo testing, yes, there was actually about a week or 2 after the fight with Holyfield. There was actually reports. I think it was USADA, the United States Anti-Doping Agency, that brought out reports about him testing positive for Halo testing. Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I've heard that he's been Halo tested, but I don't think that's why he bit that guy. You know what I mean? I don't think that's what
I like what Greg just said, because now, Greg, just know when you die, I'm dropping a big load.
Hey, Lee, when it comes to the trannies, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, treat it like a duck. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know the best thing about doing a 7-year-old boy from behind, you pretend it's a 7-year-old girl.
Fuck. No, Lee.
What? Too far?
It just went red.
And on that disgusting note, we're going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys all back next week for another exciting episode of After Hours.
Take care, guys.
Later, guys.